Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, and Rovi, and today we're going to talk about whether or not Bitcoin is actually done for. Ordinals exposes Bitcoin, and BRC20 has started the death nail on the good old.
Yeah, the narrative is shifting pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
From like a week ago, it's like, man, this BRC20 stuff, kind of interesting. 20 million market cap.
Yeah.
This is a goofy little experiment. And then like a few days later, it's like, oh, we've reached like 200 million of a market cap. It's like now this is no longer like a trend. This is probably going to be here for the long term. And like a couple of days later, it's like, holy shit, Bitcoin is done. Yeah, near $1 billion market cap. And now everyone's asking like...
Yeah, Binance is almost about to delist Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, they had to stop withdrawals.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys are seeing some of these headlines, right? So... let's contextualize what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, because we've seen this happen on the Ethereum side of things a few years ago whenever DeFi first started popping off and then NFTs entered the equation.
Yeah.
Right? The same kind of like sky is falling mentality was kind of permeating. Right?
That's right.
It's like...
yeah, Ethereum is useless.
Yeah, it's too slow. It's unusable. We'll never get mainstream adoption. Who the hell is going to want to pay $500 to do a simple swap?
No way we're going to have decentralized finance of the world on Ethereum.
Yeah. But guess what? We got past all of that, and the Ethereum ecosystem continues to grow and mature, and there's development still happening, and now there's a whole layer 2 environment, striving to unburden some of these pressures off of the Ethereum layer 1 ecosystem. So here we are today. Bitcoin is fucked.
Yeah.
If you've been trying to move Bitcoin around at all, you probably noticed things have gotten significantly more expensive, and potentially you might not even get your transactions like recognized.
Yeah.
Or
if
confirmed.
you haven't paid enough of the gas fee. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's happening, dude? What's causing all this?
All right. So just like I said earlier, Binance temporarily suspends all Bitcoin withdrawals.
Yeah.
Citing network congestion issues.
Yeah. So this I think was yesterday. So this is kind of what sparked. I'm pretty sure this tweet from Binance pretty much got everybody's laser eyes from the Bitcoin community gazing at BRC20s now.
They're like, say what?
Yeah. Like what? We can't take our Bitcoin out. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Right. So if they weren't aware of BRC20s yet, they're definitely aware of it.
Yeah.
Now.
They're asking questions now.
Yeah.
And we got another tweet here. BRC20 Marketplace didn't exist 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's now nearly $1 billion market cap.
Unbelievable, dude. And if you guys have been watching us, dude, we've been trailing this Ordinals experiment from the get-go, from the beginning.
Yeah.
When it was just Casey Rodimer's wild hunch.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, Ordinals is a nomenclature on top of Bitcoin that says Bitcoin has been released in a sequence. We're going to give that sequence a name called Ordinals, and each Satoshi is a potential non-fungible token. That's it.
Because it has a chronology to them, right?
A chronology, yes.
And then each individual sat, which there's 100 million per Bitcoin, right?
That's right. So that's 100 million possible inscriptions per Bitcoin.
Right. So now, just by laying that foundational, I guess, like system in place, now like the community is figuring out clever ways how to utilize this, right?
Yeah.
Through the process of inscribing, I guess, data and information to these individual sets. So the BRC20 thing started just like on a thread on Twitter by a creator by the name of Domo, right? You can find him on Twitter right now. You just at Domo. That's the dude who kind of like theorized, hey man, we can create like a semblance of fungibility by leveraging in the inscription model, right? And they did. There it is. This is March 10th. When was that?
So
about 2 months ago.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2 months ago.
Yeah. And ever since then, it's kind of been taking off tremendously, but especially as of recently. So to the point where, I mean, there's some serious hard debate going on in the Bitcoin space, like that I haven't witnessed before, right? People are essentially fighting with one another whether or not the miner network should support this or not.
Yes. Yeah. So Trevor BTC, so this guy on Twitter, I guess a huge investor in Bitcoin, right? He said he laid it out perfectly in this Twitter space that you were listening to. You told me to listen to first 5 minutes, into it. He says, when Bitcoin starts having and enough halvening cycles happen, each halvening cycle for Bitcoin reduces the inflation of Bitcoin by half. Therefore, if the price doesn't double, the miners either have to turn off hashing power, which reduces the network security.
Yeah.
Or they figure out a way to cover that cost by the mining fees.
Yeah.
Right. And so what Bitcoin Ordinals and BRC20 is doing, they're taking up the block space with these shit coins, right? But that block space is extremely valuable now because now that they're being taken up, everybody's competing to get mined onto Bitcoin.
Correct.
And so now those fees are being paid to the miners. Yeah. And now hashing rate is going up before the halving, which is unusual. Yeah. And now we have a way to support Bitcoin's mining ecosystem with these coins, right? Yeah. These ordinals.
So basically, like the value premise that the Bitcoin maxis have kind of like been advocating over the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years of Bitcoin's main contributor to civilization is it's like a new digital store of value. Like that was like a dead end proposal from the beginning.
Yeah, 100%.
At some point in the future, you know, the miner network that supports all of this, they have to be incentivized somehow.
Yes.
In order to maintain like all these hardware resource requirements and stuff like that.
Yeah. Imagine this extreme scenario where Bitcoin's so valuable, people buy it just to hold it. There's no velocity of money.
Yeah.
And if everybody, countries, companies are all buying and holding because it's extremely valuable, what's the incentive for miners to mine anything because there's very little transactions?
And then the rewards have been halved to the point of like dust.
Yeah,
well, just not much.
Yeah, it's not much. Even like, because right now we have roughly almost $20 million Bitcoin in circulation, right? Obviously, there's been 1 million lost or whatever, but there's only 21 million, right? Yeah. And most of them exist. Yeah. Right? There's going to be a point where there's no more new Bitcoin in circulation. There's no incentive to continue mining other than the fees. And if it's so valuable that nobody's trading it because everybody's holding it, there's no incentive to continue mining it. Security goes down. Yeah. And then now you have a potential superpower that might, change the blocks. All of a sudden, Bitcoin's valueless.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. So this is enough of an argument, I guess, to kind of like advocate for Bitcoin's block space being utilized to produce actual new additional value premises, right? Which is things like DeFi, things like GameFi, potentially, whatever the hell gets, concocted by these developer communities, by leveraging Bitcoin as a settlement layer, right? Just like what's happening on Ethereum.
Yeah.
This is what's going to generate like sustainability for the long term.
Yeah. For the Bitcoin maxis, they're claiming that this is bad for Bitcoin, right? This is bad, taking up the space, clogging up the network. All of a sudden to send, a few Bitcoins, like an extraordinary amount of money.
I've been hearing even like such like emotional narratives to this angle of like, you guys care more about your shit coins than, children starving in El Salvador and stuff like that. They're bringing in like
straw man theory.
Yeah. They're bringing in like the most of emotional heartstrings that they could consider. It's like, hey, it's like now this family in a third world country that depends on Bitcoin.
Yeah. El Salvador, maybe like some countries in Africa, like they've really committed to Bitcoin as being like a ingrained part of their economy, local economies. So that's the main argument against this is like you guys are much more interested in like, creating speculation rather than supporting, a real global, I can see that. I just don't know enough about what's happening in these other countries. Are they really using Bitcoin to transact or are they using it to back some other currency that? Yeah. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. But nonetheless, there's like a little letter here that was written on Eric Wall's tweet over there.
Oh, here it is.
That basically states, this is one of those things that they don't think can be avoided no matter what. Right? Like this is purely community driven. Like the actors that are developing in this space are going to leverage the Bitcoin block space however they
what Eric is saying, that there's no fork that could happen where you can avoid this anyways.
Potentially. I mean, the speculation is because forks have happened in the past in Bitcoin's history, right? Where the miner community, I guess,
had to make a decision.
Correct. They disagreed on the trajectory of Bitcoin, so they have to fork and split into two, like, separate entities, two different blockchains, essentially. So this is potentially one of those instances where I guess Taproot is like the upgrade of recent times that is kind of like enabling all this to happen, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, you could just kind of like remove that upgrade from that chain into a new fork.
Yeah.
to avoid this from happening.
It's like, yeah, we made a mistake, and so we're going back to version, you know, the previous version.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's like just to maintain the value premise of.
See, but then it goes back to our original thesis statement, where it's like, if you go back to its original state, then there's going to be less transaction on Bitcoin, and then once you get to year 2140, there's no incentive to trade it because it's extremely valuable. There's no velocity of money.
Yeah, but you know there's going to be people who disagree with that, and there's going to be contention, and so this is what's happening right now. So the thing to be, I guess, most paying attention to, clearly there's a sustainability, a scalability issue with Bitcoin, just like there is with Ethereum.
Yes.
Right. So there's no real short-term technical solution on the horizon to address this.
Yeah.
So essentially, this BRC20 madness is not going to stop anytime soon. So I think the community, everybody involved, is going to have to expect like this is going to be the new norm for Bitcoin.
Yeah. So something needs to happen, though.
Yeah.
Like it's. So we talked about some of the scenarios where we could fork. We can create ZK rollups onto Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Where all these transactions are happening on second layers and providing probably a more efficient ecosystem for developers to create stuff and maybe new functionalities, but everything gets rolled up and into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So you can have 100,000 transactions happening out in the second layer. It gets rolled up into Bitcoin. You have the finality of Bitcoin.
Yeah, as long as like the whole, because what I think the root value, that's what's been created here with Ordinals, is it's the ability to inscribe data to Satoshis, individual sats. Like I think as long as that's preserved in whatever the tertiary like environment that gets spun up to make this sustainable.
Yeah.
Then I don't think you lose any value in that sense. Like as long as you're still having that finality on Bitcoin and like it's all still attributed to these individual sats, like if you can figure out a way to create a second layer for all of that and still preserve that, then yeah, we're cooking again. You know what I mean? So I could see that definitely happening. So the big next narrative, once the BRC20 thing, eventually it will settle at some point.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how the nature of boom and bust cycles. Like, you know, there's going to be a euphoria, uprise. Lots of exchanges are already starting to, onboard these BRC20s, so it's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Gate.io was a recent one.
Yeah.
That's why we've seen a huge explosion in market caps.
Correct.
Like basically overnight.
Yeah. So, expect the BRC20 thing to continue on. How long and for how high will it go? Nobody can predict that.
Yeah.
But we do know it's going to come to an end at some point. It's going to settle down. And then the new narrative is going to be, okay, how do we do this again more sustainably?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what's been happening over the last several years on Ethereum, right? Yeah. It's like, how do we scale this, right? How do we move all these functionalities to like a tertiary environment, but still settle on Ethereum, right? Same thing's going to happen here. Yeah. So sky is not falling.
Yeah, this is actually a good thing because without this, we'd be coming to the exact same problem some point in the future, right? So this is a problem that needs to be solved, and but now we're starting to see it like manifest in physical form now versus 50 years from now. Yeah.
So go back to our reference video that we made a few months ago of like the things to look out for in 2023.
Yeah.
Ordinals definitely made the list whenever we put out that video, but this whole BRC20 thing didn't even exist back then, so it didn't make our list. But I foresee probably for the next like 2 to 3 months, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
This is going to be the main staple of focus on this channel and probably every other channel on YouTube.
Yeah. Chico Crypto is talking about it now.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of crypto influencers start to understand what's going on here with BRC20s and
and to be clear, if you don't understand how this works, definitely watch our previous videos. But BRC20s are ordinals. They are ordinals. They are NFTs. They're just packaged in a way where they sort of look like fungible or not.
Well, they have
fungible tokens.
These JSON data scripts, I guess, that are interpretable by like all these different like front end services, like a Unisat or an ordinal wallet. So they are displayable as like fungible assets, and they function the same as that you could transfer them and move them around, and then they become like tools and mechanisms that ecosystems can leverage to build, like Oshi Finance, who's going to use them as a governance token to support liquidity pooling, and then eventually at some point you'll be able to swap these things just like you can on Ethereum. So it's a big breakthrough. like what's happening here, and
Yeah,
it's hard to overstate how much how big of a deal this is. This changes a lot for the whole like crypto space. You know?
Yeah, it changed your mind too. You were you're not that interested in Bitcoin, but now it's like the most interesting.
Dude, Bitcoin gave me like the biggest softie every time every time you wanted to talk about Bitcoin. It's like, God damn it, do we really have to talk about Bitcoin? It's like, dude, it's been like a month. It's like let's look at the meme charts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's like I can't get enough.
Yeah.
It's like Bitcoin's my life now, dude. I'm fiending for this Bitcoin stuff now. It's amazing.
Yeah, and everything is happening on Twitter. Like, all the communications, everything is like public on Twitter. Yeah. Like, there's no other place to be than like, dude, Elon had it right, dude. Twitter's the town hall of the planet. Agreed.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we recommend, of course, watch this channel if you want to stay informed and plugged into what's happening. But the real-time conversations are happening on Twitter Spaces, hosted by guys like Trevor.btc, others in the space, Domo, I'm sure will chime in from time to time.
Yeah, Eric Wall specifically.
Yeah, if you see anybody with like a wizard profile pic like this,
these are Ordinal.
These are like the OGs of OGs on the Ordinal network. And of course, Casey Rodimer, I don't think he really is like that public, but we recommend you follow his Twitter page. Just, every now and then he might put out some information that's relevant.
Yes. All right, guys, let us know if you have any questions. We're going to be doing more stuff on BRC20, talking about...
look at that. It's trending right now on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Right above Mr. Beast. That's a big deal. Yeah. So this is happening in real time.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing more stuff on BRC20. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you find interesting tokens, actually utility tokens.
Yeah.
Solving some problems.
Yes.
And let us know in the comment section below. Follow us on Twitter at TheBlockRunner, at MetaZone.io, and at RobyAI, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.